In this video, I'm going to show you the 10 most bizarre animals in the world. Alright, let's get started. Today, we're going to talk about an animal that is truly bizarre. Known as Grimpoteuthis, this little creature looks like it came straight out of a science fiction movie. This octopus is so strange that scientists are still learning about it. It seems that Grimpoteuthis has a very different lifestyle from the other octopuses we know. They live at depths of over 7,000 meters below sea level, where the pressure is so strong that most humans wouldn't survive even for a second. So, have you ever thought about encountering one of these down at the bottom of the ocean? The next animal on our list of bizarre creatures is the axolotl salamander. And this salamander has a very interesting story. Did you know that the axolotl salamander is an animal that only exists in Mexico? And the coolest thing is that this salamander is able to regenerate parts of its body that have been lost. That's right, if an axolotl loses a leg, for example, it can regenerate it again. Can you imagine if we could do that? It would be incredible. But that's not all. The axolotl salamander has another peculiarity. It can breathe both through its mouth and its gills. This is because this salamander spends most of its life in the water, but can also live on land. It's a true chameleon, isn't it? Continuing our list of bizarre animals, let's now talk about the sea pig. But wait. Sea pig? What is that? Well, despite the name, the sea pig is not a pig and doesn't live on land, quite the opposite. It's a marine animal that has a very peculiar body. It looks like a bag of flesh with some tentacles and some very sharp spines. And you know, I'm not a biology expert, but this creature is definitely one of the strangest things I've ever seen. And you know what's even more curious? The sea pig doesn't have eyes or teeth. It feeds by sucking in things around it, like plants and small animals. And although it's considered a food in some parts of the world, I confess that I don't know if I would have the courage to try it. But hey, to each their own, right? And the sea pig is undoubtedly a very interesting creature that deserves our attention. Stay tuned because we still have more bizarre animals to show you. Goblin shark. This animal has a very different shape from the other sharks we're used to seeing. It has a large, flattened head, huge eyes, and pointed teeth. It almost looks like a monster. But don't worry, folks, despite being a scary animal, the goblin shark is not considered a threat to humans. One interesting fact about this shark is that it can camouflage very well on the ocean floor. This is because its skin is covered by a layer of cells that reflect the light of the surrounding environment. Thus, it becomes practically invisible to its prey or potential predators. And that's not all. The goblin shark has a very curious ability. It can pop out its mouth forward and suck its prey with incredible force. It's like it has a kind of cannon in its mouth. I, for one, am glad not to be one of its prey. And now let's talk about an animal that is very different from everything we're used to seeing, the lemur. This animal has a very exotic look, with half gray and half brown fur, huge eyes, and a kind of long, skeletal finger that looks like a third arm. But despite looking a bit strange, the lemur is a very special and important animal for the ecosystem of Madagascar, where it lives. One of the curiosities about the lemur is that it is considered a nocturnal animal, and therefore has a very sharp vision in the dark. In addition, it feeds on insects and other small animals that it can find in the forest. To find its prey, it uses its long, thin finger to tap on tree trunks and detect the sound of the larvae that live inside. Amazing, isn't it? Archocephalus darwini, also known as the frogfish. This animal is very different from the fish we are used to seeing, with a very strange and even somewhat scary appearance. It has a chubby and wide body, a flattened head, and a huge mouth full of sharp teeth. But despite looking a little threatening, the frogfish is actually a very peaceful animal that spends most of its time camouflaged on the seabed. One of the curiosities about the frogfish is that it is capable of changing the color of its skin to blend in with the environment around it. This helps the animal protect itself from predators and also approach prey without being noticed. And despite not being very well known, the frogfish is one of the many fascinating species that inhabit the depths of the ocean. So if you are a fan of exotic animals and love learning about new species, be sure to get to know the frogfish and other creatures that inhabit the depths of the sea. It is truly impressive the diversity and beauty that we can find in nature. Naked mole rat. Unlike most rodents, which have soft and furry fur, this small animal has naked and pink skin, resembling a mole. It lives in underground colonies in East Africa and is famous for its longevity. Some specimens have lived for more than 30 years. But what really draws attention to the naked mole rat is its ability to withstand oxygen deprivation. This is because it can reduce heart rate and decrease blood flow to its vital organs, such as the brain, during periods of low oxygen. This characteristic is an adaptation to its underground habitat, where oxygen availability is limited. Despite not being the prettiest animal you've ever seen, the naked mole rat is certainly one of the most curious and interesting. And its ability to adapt to the environment is an inspiring example for all of us. Now, let's talk about Bathynomus giganteus, also known as the giant isopod, or sea cockroach. This animal is a giant crustacean that can measure over 30 centimeters in length and weigh over a kilo. The giant isopod is found in deep waters all over the world and is considered one of the largest crustaceans on the planet. It mainly feeds on dead animal remains found on the seafloor, but can also attack live animals when necessary. Despite often being mistaken for a cockroach, the giant isopod is a fascinating and important animal for the marine ecosystem. It helps clean up the seafloor by removing dead animal remains that could cause the proliferation of harmful bacteria. And although many people may find the giant isopod scary or gross, it is an example of how nature can be surprising and full of unique and interesting creatures. The next animal on our list is the star-nosed mole. This small mammal, which lives in moist areas of North America, is famous for its strange and peculiar nose. The star-nosed mole's nose is covered in pink, flexible tentacles that help it find food and navigate in the dark. In addition to being curious, these moles have impressive abilities. They are excellent diggers and can quickly tunnel through underground tunnels using their strong, sharp front paws. They also have very keen hearing and sense of smell, which helps them find prey in the darkness. And believe it or not, the star-nosed mole is one of the fastest animals in the world. It is capable of digging at a speed of up to 20 centimeters per second, which is incredibly fast for such a small animal. Therefore, despite its strange nose and subterranean habits, the star-nosed mole is a fascinating and impressive animal in many ways. This was the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, leave a like so I can buy a better computer to edit videos, because mine is from the time of the pharaohs, and it takes me 6 to 10 hours to make a video like this. Thanks for watching and see you next time.